Thanks so much. And though I'm doing this session, I didn't know a lot of those words myself. And I have a Gen Z and a Gen Alpha at home. At my age, you have a Gen Z at home. Thank you. So, before we get into the presentation, what we're trying to do, and there are three of us who've put together this session. There's Rajiv, who's going to go after me, and Archana's the one who's moderated and stitched it all for us. Thanks, Archana, and thanks, Shiny and Jaswant for having us here and addressing this topic. So it's difficult to understand them completely, right? And while there's one angle to it, which is their lingo, etc., but I think what is very, very important for brands, marketers, product to understand is what are they thinking? What are their traits? Because we build products for how they're thinking, for the, generation. What are the insights that drive them? What are their drivers? What do they not like? And today, most of us need to be very wary of that. Because as you said, they are the ones who are evolving into customers for most of us today. We run a job portal, we run a matrimony business, we run education. And in education and as in jobs, they're already part of our teams, they've entered these businesses. It was important for us to actually understand what is it that we need to do? What is Gen Z really? Who is Gen Z? Because our products were built for millennials, and now we have to transform those products if marketing has to be affected, because brands are not built just by advertising. They're built by customer experience. So what we did in January and February is that we actually did a qualitative research with 500 Gen Z, not Alpha, across the country, because we also felt, do the metros and the tier 2 and the tier 3, is Gen Z thinking differently, exposure is different. So we went across to about 12 towns in all over India. We did not cover the Northeast, we only went till West Bengal. And we did a research. What I've tried to do today is put together some of the core insights that came out, which will help you understand their attributes, their personalities. So I'll start. First, this is true for every generation. Every generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the past and wiser than the one that follows. It's true for us, it's going to be true for them, and it was true for Gen X as well. So before this, a lot of people keep asking, what is Alpha? What is Gen Z? So I just put this chart together so that we know Gen Z is 97 to about 2012, and Alpha is beyond that, till the mid-2020s. This is an attribute that all of them have. They are full of confidence, right? It's an attribute which is good, I feel. A lot of us in our mid-30s and 40s get a lot of this confidence from work, etc. And we call this sense of entitlement, etc. But they're absolutely very, very confident, audaciously. And why? One of the things we realized was because their parents, which is some of us, few in this room, very few, but I belong to the Gen Z parenting era. We are more like friends, right? We binge together, we will see the Gilmore Girls also, we will see the Game of Thrones also. They will also, partner with us and see things that we like and listen to old music, right? We're there at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We're okay if they're going and having vodkas and boca, because we want them to be open about it, right? So they've seen parents more like friends, they can open up, and that's a parenting style that they're used to. They're very used to small wins, instant gratification. I think Achint also touched upon that, right? They don't want a loyalty program. As Gen Z will become more and more consumers, they don't want to wait to then redeem those points. They want something there and then. And there is this whole thing of instant gratification. And there is so much inspiration around them, because look at all the creators, look at all these youngsters, And I met somebody very, very interesting outside just 15 minutes ago, barely 24, already running almost a 200 crore business with 60% profitability. That is Gen Z, So they have a lot of inspiration coming from actually their age group, doing various different things and being achieved, and they've kind of achieved a lot. But at the same time, they're emotionally on the edge, you know. There is that sense of FOMO because your life is on social, you're looking at a lot of things, you feel you're maybe losing out. A lot of people are putting out their best there. So there is a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of sense of FOMO. And I can tell you a difference between the Gen Z and Alpha I have. The Alpha is all about Jordans. He would rather be seen dead and says, who wears Air Force One? We're still in Nike Air. We didn't even know Jordans existed, So for them, a lot of this is a way to get happy. They're small triggers, but they feel this makes me happy. If there is an iPhone 14, I must have it. I would be rather dead with an iPhone 13. So they kind of do all this. And therefore, I feel that it is up to us marketeers in the room, on which side do we want to play. These are attributes. We can choose to play on the FOMO, on the self-elevation side. We can choose to play on the confidence side. That is for us to really decide. But what is very important is not to be judgmental and look down upon these traits, but to recognize that these are traits of this generation. When I changed my job, my dad, I'm an army brat, and my dad was a general in the army. He'd served 37 years in the army. And he said, you're changing after 6 years. You're very disloyal to your organization. They must have trained you, they've invested behind you, and then when you're changing after 10 years, this is not right. And then we kind of started saying, look at these kids, they want to change every 3-4 years, they're getting bored, yevo, what is this? And today we see something absolutely different. So this happens every generation. And they're all right in their thinking. I think as marketeers, we need to acknowledge and not judge. We need to understand where is this thinking, where are the attitudes coming from, rather than feel that this is not the right thing. There is a great sense of individualism, right? Something that I don't think was that strong in the millennials at all. And this should not be misinterpreted as only I will not do teamwork, I will not work in a team. But it is really about me. I want to stand out. I just don't want to be a follower. I don't want to just do everything that everybody is doing. And this me versus us is very, very strong. Where is this coming from? This whole exposure, right? They're global netizens. What's happening in the West, they know. The kids in India, the kids in America, the kids in London are all consuming the same content. So there is really, all of them are seeing the same brands, accessing everything similar, and that is where a lot of this is coming. There's also this sense of patriotism that is really coming back. They're prouder of their country than maybe the millennials were, because they're seeing so many great examples in front of them, both in the corporate side, so many CEOs now who are actually Indians of large, conglomerates, and of course on the other side, which is the celebrity side. And they are very, very strong on associations, extremely strong on self-expression. We were having, I think last night, we were just talking about our kids and how I was telling somebody that my niece's convocation could not happen in the US, in the amphitheater, just because there was so much of protest on this Gaza-Israel war that it had to happen inside the chapel. And that guy told me actually that my daughters banned us from using a particular brand, at home, because they are pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, and not pro-Palestine. So there is a lot of wokeism. There is a lot of, so they're purpose-driven and they believe in authenticity. And I think, therefore, as brands, it becomes important for us to recognize this, to be authentic, right? They can very, very easily also distinguish whether the influencers are doing something paid because people like us have written checks, or do they really mean it, right? And they're okay to forgive them because they say they need to earn their bread and butter as well. So I think being authentic is very, very important, far more important for all of us today than it was earlier. Not saying that it was okay to be fake ever, but I think today, because they're purpose-driven, we need to be very, very careful of this. And if we are doing good things in the organization, if we are actually which most organizations are. If we are environmentally sustainable, if we, are carbon free, it's good to talk about these things. A lot of us in the earlier days did not talk about it, except if we were really giving CSR presentations. But I think to this generation as consumers, it's very important to talk about these things. So these were some of the main insights that came, main traits that came out of this survey. Just a few slides on what we did after this survey as Naukri. So there was Hari Sadhu, and at that time the millennials actually said we leave a job because of a bad boss, and that's how came Hari Sadhu, and it did very, very well for us, of course. And we were like, who is the Gen Z job seeker? What's going on in his mind? Because as their managers, you kind of feel, they're entitled, they want everything, they don't want to work hard, they are not, stability and loyalty are not terms that they understand, they're not bothered about their careers. But good we did this research because we were proven wrong. They are very, 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 very career conscious. They're very conscious about their career. They are extremely ambitious. It's just that they look at it differently from the way we looked at it. It's absolutely materialistic for them. They want quick growth. And these are some of the verbatums that I pulled out which were interesting, and we might have seen that in our teams, youngsters going to I get to know which country to go to because now there is a flight to Vietnam. Now Kazakhstan has become visa-free. I'm taking 2 days off and going there for 4 days, right? So they're doing a lot of things that we never did. And that is important to them, and for all that, you do need money. They will do anything for growth, right? They wish to accomplish at breakneck speed. So it's not that they're not ambitious, and I think it was very important for us to understand that as managers, as parents, and definitely as brand Naukri, because who we're catering to is really job seekers. And it is our duty to also explain to recruiters, because on the other end, it is actually recruiters who are recruiting these people. And a lot of us become very judgmental about our teams as well, Now 1 year, the person's getting bored, person's got so much increment, still is leaving, etc., etc. But these are really the traits. So what did we do? So as Naukri, what we did was we created something based on this ambitious nature. And the reason was because we felt that we're now understanding them better, and it is our duty to let recruiters, managers, and bosses also understand them. That when they are saying these things, when they are doing these things, they're not being bad to you. They're not being disloyal. It's just that they are ambitious, they believe in fast growth. So we created our TVC.
15% increment बढ़िया तो है. पैसे के पीछे मत भाग. Slow and steady wins the race. तुझे कछुआ बनना है या खरगोश?
They won't get it. We do. Naukri for the ambitious.
So, they're ambitious. I don't know, I think the sound was not very clear to me on the stage. I don't know whether you could hear it well in the audience. But it was, a 15-20% increment. The bosses are saying, why have you resigned? You've got a decent increment, but it's not enough for him. And he's trying to say, Kachua banna hai ya khargosh. And we were brought up by slow and steady wins the race. Be stable in your early years, and then you can reach leadership. But they've chosen to be the khargosh, right? And that's the way the Gen Z is. How are we talking to them? Pretty much like you said, you need to talk to them in their language. You need to be where they are. And with them, we know traditional media is absolutely out. But does that mean that they only look at bumpers? Does that mean they do not look at long-form content? No, right? So you need to do things that they are interested in. So we recently tied up with RCB, and thank God, that I have Gen Z in my teams. Because when they came up to me, I said, why RCB? It's one of the worst performing teams. We're a leader, in the category. We should tie up with the top 3 teams, We have money. We don't need to save money. And they said, no. But it's the #1 team on social media. It has maximum buzz. There's Danish Seth there, etc. It's not about the team rankings in the IPL. It's really about where the Gen Z is, And I'm glad we did something with them. I don't know if this video plays.
Over 5 lakh jobs on Naukri. And this IPL season, we also had the coolest job ever too. Yes, you heard that right. Everyone's favorite, Royal Challengers Bangalore, was looking to hire a fan in chief. And of course they turned to Naukri, India's #1 job site. But wait, what makes this job so cool? In our hunt for the fan in chief, someone to come up with chants, post hilarious memes about the other teams, even shake the goat's protein shakes, we received an overwhelming response from cricket buffs like you. With lakhs of applications and hundreds of fan reels, the excitement was through the roof. And the coolest job ever became the talk of the town. From the massive pool of applicants, we found our top 3 contenders. Danish Seth played recruiter for Naukri and RCB to find the perfect fan-in-chief through a reality show, putting the 3 contenders through a series of unique and, well, challenging tasks. And boy was it entertaining. The competition was fierce, the tasks were fun, and the journey was thrilling. But wait, who landed the coolest job ever?
The winner of Naukri, the coolest job ever 2024 is...
Watch all the episodes on Naukri's YouTube channel today to find out.
So those are some of the things that we've kind of done after understanding them. You need to do it their way. We're doing a lot of stand-up because that's what's something that excites them. So you're still marketing to them without judging them, but understanding them. So thank you so much. That's from my side. And, I would just say that we should all understand them and not judge them. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sumit. Love them. Do not judge them. Now we have the next presentation, and this will be by Rajiv Dubey, Senior GM Media of Dabur. Can we give it up for Rajiv, please?
Hi, good afternoon. I think that side has got magnet, Everybody's got gravitated towards that side. There's nobody here. We had lovely lunch this afternoon, and what I realized is that we used one hack in office. We brush our teeth if you start feeling sleepy, It's one hack which wakes you up and alive. So that's what I did. I went back to my room, brushed my teeth with the toothpaste my company makes, and came back here. Here to talk about a bit about my brands and what kind of strategies do we use. I work for a company called Dabur, old company, 140 years old. I've been in this company for most of these 140 years. 250 plus products. Our distribution is our strength. We sell through almost 80 lakh outlets. Our products are available in 80 lakh shops in the country. Massive distribution, 120 countries. Is it working? No, it's not working. It's not moving. Can somebody help? Yeah. Major categories for us, the biggest being juices. We make real juices, one of the biggest leaders we are a leader in juices, about 60%, 65% market share. Health supplements like Chyawanprash, honey, glucose, these categories we are again leaders with 60% plus market share, except for glucose, which is about 30. Skin care, we're just struggling. We have products like Gulabari and Fem. Oral care, I told you, Red toothpaste, Meswak, Babool, and bunch of other toothpaste which we launched. We are number 2 by volume in the country currently. What happens is that, whatever we have done in all these 140 years I've been around the company is not going to take us in future. What is happening is that a lot of these categories which I talked about, the lapsage of consumers is very, very high. Like, for example, you guys must have heard about this product called Chyawanprash. All of you, I believe, are 20 years plus, I hope. Yeah, looks like 2021, somewhere there. So this product called Chyawanprash. So your parents must have told you at some point in time in your life that you must have it. Your parents must have told your parents to have it. What happens now is that how do we approach the next set of consumers? It becomes a challenge. I'll just talk about it in a bit. Sumit covered most of this, Generation Z. I mean, which generation I'm from? Generation X. I didn't know about this till the time Pepsi told us in 1992 that I'm Generation X. Then came Y, which is millennials and Gen Z. Then Alpha is like still very hard to crack. And one of those words you were saying, those words describe them all. Another issue with this Generation Z is that it's totally TV dark. So all these people born between 1997 and 2012, they don't watch any TV. They are not even, perhaps not there on social media, which is like Facebook. I have a 23-year-old son who's just going to grow out of Generation Z very soon. He never used Facebook when he was growing up. He logged into Facebook when he was 8 years old, moved out of Facebook when he was 13, which is the legal age to get into Facebook, right? By that time, he was out. He said, it's for old people. And imagine, all these people here in this room, most of us have stopped using Facebook now because I think it's become for even our parents now, right? Quickly, Sumit covered all these points that, this Generation Z value system is concerned, vocal, unapologetic, independent, etc. The sphere is shrinking. I'll come to this one thing, which is like people don't want to repair things like they want to replace. If a phone is broken, they will not get it repaired. Replace the phone. Tech has become a big talk. We are all talking tech here. I'm from a very traditional company. We also love to talk about tech nowadays because, we have to go after the first-party audience, first-party data, so that we can find out what our consumers are doing and then target our ads to them so that we can buy our products in future. This generation is already doing that. As a company, what are we doing to differentiate between others versus us? Imagine, traditionally our products were sold because of word of mouth, because there's a very strong loyalty for our products. Like, if somebody comes and tells you that, Chyawanprash is bad, you'll not believe it. You say, no, it can't be wrong. It's been there for generations. It can't be wrong. Amla hair oil is one brand, which has been there for 5 decades or so, and it really helps hair grow. Unfortunately, I never used it on my hair, otherwise I would have been standing here with a lot of hair in my head. I didn't get to use it in time. I was late. Then all the new age products which we have launched in recent times meaning there was a time when only white toothpaste existed in this country, About 20 years back or 15 years back, we launched a product called red toothpaste. Today, in this country, Ayurvedic toothpastes, including Dabur and Patanjali's Dant Kanti, etc., put together, sell about 25% of colored toothpaste, which are non-gel toothpaste, So we have created these things. So what have we done in this period is that, tried to give new formats of offerings to people. I talked about toothpaste, which was one offering a few years back. In recent times, we have launched set of new toothpastes, which are in different domain, like charcoal toothpaste, like gel toothpaste, which have been there for ages, but improvised on those products, and further tried to improve on the product offering. Then real juice, which kind of existed only in the juice format, we tried to come up in a fizzy format so that it appeals to the younger audiences, younger generation. We have not been very successful in this, but we are getting there. Odonil example. Odonil is one product, which has been acquired from another company about a few years, 2 decades back. Extremely successful brand once again, growing very, very fast. We've doubled this brand in last 3 years. Hajmola, you must have heard about Hajmola. Most of us, you must have had it. 100 crore people in this country use this product. Again, it has doubled its turnover in last 3 to 4 years. How we have done it? We have done it because we have improved our communication. We have tried to reach out to the audiences and have started talking in their languages. As a person who heads media and experiential marketing in the company, I have a connect with over 4 crore people in a year, which I go and interact with directly through our various exhibitions, participation in melas. We participate in most of the melas in the country, which happen. You must have heard of Nauchanti Mela, which happens near Meerut. There's one Pandharpur Yatra, which happens in Maharashtra. There is Rath Yatra, which is happening currently in Orissa. We participate in all these places and try to get in touch with consumers and have direct contact. Availability, like second part in this thing is availability. So I talked about 80 lakh outlets where we are present physically. Then comes the bottom of the funnel approach, where we kind of reach out to the consumers through digital medium. And currently, more than 10% of our business comes out of the marketplaces and through various digital platforms, including our D2C, which is currently very small, not very big to talk about. Basically, being present where Gen Z is present. And I hope that the bottom of the funnel approach is working pretty well for us, just like it's working for everybody else. It is basically added to our business, whatever we have done in this sphere. Then communication, having a very credible, relevant, and engaging communication so that it cuts ice with people, with younger audiences especially. In a year, all brands, since we have so many brands, if I talk about a huge number of influencers we work with, it sounds a huge number, but over 5,000 to 8,000 influencers in a year, all kinds of, all shapes and sizes, macro, micro, nano, everyone, who can give us some business, give us some leads, work with us. I'll just run one small communication if it's possible to run, which is for Amla Hair Oil. Can you run this video, please? Or will it run on its own? This one. No, the second. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
देख 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 कौन आया। हमारे एचआर वाले भी ना आजकल किसी को भी इंटरव्यू के लिए बुला लेते हैं।
क्वाइट जंकी।
जस्ट लुक एट हर।
अरे वो 11th फ्लोर वाले नए स्टार्टअप के लिए आई होगी, गलती से यहाँ आ गई।
आई थिंक सो। स्टार्टअप वाले ही हायर करते होंगे ऐसे रंग बिरंगे लोग।
चला जा, उसकी हेल्प करते हैं। एक्सक्यूज मी। हाय।
Hi.
I think you're in the wrong office.
No, I think I am in the right office.
ये एक sales office है, मैम।
I am into sales.
Okay, no offense, but we are a very professional organization. Very particular about how our people look. और आपका look तो थोड़ा, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. आप लोग मुझे मेरे looks के basis पे judge कर रहे हैं। बट मेरे वर्क प्लेस पर मेरा हेयर स्टाइल काम करेगा या मेरे स्किल्स? सो जज मी फॉर माई स्किल्स, नॉट माई लुक्स।
Hey Sanya, you're finally here. So good to see you. Come, I'll make you meet the team.
Definitely.
All right, everyone. I have some news for you. हमारे low sales को tackle करने के लिए, we finally have an expert who has a proven sales record. Please welcome our new sales VP, Ms. Sanya Nair.
I'm sure we'll make a great team.
चाहे आपके बाल पतले हो, घने हो, स्ट्रेट या कर्ली, याद बस इतना रखना कि आपका जज्बा मैटर करता है, सोसाइटी का ओपिनियन नहीं।
ऐसी ही लाखों महिलाएं जिनके अंदर की मजबूती झलकती है उनके हर अंदाज में। डाबर आमला पिछले 80 सालों से देता आ रहा है उनके बालों को जड़ों से मजबूती। We wish you a happy Women's Day.
So, very traditional company, very traditional brand. We use usually film stars for advertising. This kind of communication is a series of such communications which happens across the year. We use all the occasions possible to communicate with the Gen Z audiences. It has been working for us because the only measure of these things working is the increase in market shares across all the categories. So 99% of our categories have had a increase in market shares in last so many years, this year included. This in a nutshell was, is again not moving. Can you just please help? Yeah. Then, another thing about cricket, I mean, we have never been on cricket. As a company, we only target women and housewives. Since last year, we started targeting cricket across all platforms, TV, digital, everywhere, right? And it's very expensive, unaffordable, and it's not for the faint-hearted. But we tried to attempt buying cricket this year, moved away from GC a bit, moved away from news genre a bit, and putting money behind cricket, and just to see what happens. And it's been working. And so we have reason to believe that, it's been working for us because, again, market shares, they talk numbers. One-day events, we've been taking like say, a movie awards, etc. earlier. Now we're moving away from there, trying to do something more in sports in order to get some new audiences. And this is it from me. And we like you too. I hope I was in time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Rajiv, we'll actually request you to stay on stage. We'll request Sumit also to come back. I'd also like to now invite Archana Agarwal, ex-VP Media Airtel, for some fun questions and also questions that the audience might have on their minds as well.
I think another round of applause for both of them. I think at least I learned a lot.
Thank you.
So over the weekend, I was at my cousin's place and I met my niece and nephew and they taught me something new. So this was Gen Alpha. They said, what is this? Can anyone guess? Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear. No? That's what it's for us, for our generation. This is 6. This is 6. This is 7. This is 8. And then we said, no, but this can be 1. They said, no, 1 is this. So this is something which I learned from Gen Alpha. But then right now they're in their teens or just approaching teens. But thank you, Sumit and Rajiv. I think very interesting session, understanding. I think a lot of things we kind of knew, but I think with data backing it up, actually just makes it a lot more, gives us a lot more insights and information. Sumit, I love the TVC that you played, and I really like the way you integrated with RCB and created that whole coolest job. I think that's something which really appeals to Gen Z. But what I want to understand is like every brand here may not be able to find that niche of associating with say an RCB. They may not have that kind of budgets and stuff like that. What in your mind, what else can brands do to reach out to this cohort? It could be advertising or any other things that what else do they need to do to reach out to this cohort?
So, thank you first, for the TVC and the association. But Archana, I think, because authenticity is important to them, inclusivity is important to them, I think it's important for brands to kind of embrace that, If we embrace that in our messaging. Another important thing I feel is that a lot of them, YouTube is becoming the second search engine, right? So that doesn't take that much money. And I'm not talking of advertising. Do we have enough information there? Because when people are searching, they're not looking for your ad. There, of course, they're dying to skip. Yeah. But, do we have a lot of information there? Are we vocal about a lot of the things that we are doing, and that comes to transparency? And I would go one step further. For example, in businesses like ours, where all our businesses are consumer internet businesses, what are we doing on our product really? So, for example, on Jeevan Sathi, compatibility tools that we made for millennials were more on hobbies. We both travel, we both do this. Gen Z, and also actually the latter part of the millennials, are actually saying compatibility is not this. Compatibility is are you understanding that I, as a woman, still want to continue to basically financially support my parents? Are you fine with that? You know, so I think a lot of that needs to change on your product. Terms like situationship, right? Because it's no longer dating. All these terms have to come in. Everybody's swiping now, right? This generation is not scrolling. So small things on your product, even on your advertising, even on WhatsApp messaging. Do we have carousels now? You know, it's a 9:16 world now. So I think a lot of things can also be done in the way we communicate, in the formats we communicate. We just saw a lovely ad that on Women's Day we saw from Dabur Amla. I don't think we could have imagined something like that from Dabur Amla 10 years ago. You know, so I think there's a lot one can do, you know.
So I think what I understood was that it's not only the way you communicate, I think changing product to make it more appealing to this audience is equally important. And I think Rajiv gave that example where on Hajmola, if you saw the sticker on the Hajmola, the brand image on the Hajmola was a little more now appealing to the younger audience, you know, that you pointed that out also. I don't know how many of you all noticed it, but I think that was, so it's not just changing advertising, but also actually changing product, because finally the moment of truth is when somebody goes to pick it up, either through e-com or actually going to the shop and buying. Rajiv, what you've helped us understand is what you've been doing currently. Now, this generation we know is, you said, you know, they are in the now. And so how are you looking from a future standpoint? How are you looking at what kind of products and innovations or any kind of innovations that you're thinking of launching and how to appeal to this audience? Because this audience is, as they grow, they're also going to get a lot of power in terms of you know, financial power, because as they're going to get into jobs, they're all into they're all the early jobbers, but obviously they're going to grow in those jobs. Their financial wealth is going to increase. So what is it? How is Dabur thinking about this?
So you know, I'll just talk about this brand called Honey. Honey used to come in this big jars, you know, 1 kilo, half kilo jars. We started a packaging innovation a few years back. We did that innovation, which started coming in a squeezy format. You know, it's so easy to use on say, you want to use it on toast, or you want to use it on top of say muesli or something. You just kind of pour it, right? And that innovation itself, you know, drove sales so much, you know, and that particular packaging is like worth 200 crores alone. That's that kind of say packaging innovation. Similarly, you know,
making life easy for
people,
for generations Z to use, actually, right?
Similarly, in Odonil spray, which is aerosol product, you know, we basically innovated packaging in such a way it looked very appealing. Otherwise, it used to look like just like a normal spray, you know. It started looking very appealing to people and started driving sales, you know, this second category. Third, like Chyawanprash, for example, I'll tell you, I mean, again, I keep coming back to Chyawanprash because like a very dear to my heart a brand. The moment you tinker with anything with Chyawanprash, it doesn't remain Chyawanprash, you know, because that's what is written in text, in Ayurvedic text. By Charak Samhita is written that if you put these things, that makes Chyawanprash. If you take something out or present it in some other format, it's no longer Chyawanprash. It has to be called something else. So, but still, we're experimenting with it, maybe coming, using Chyawanprash as a lead and presenting to people Chyawanprash in a toffee format, maybe. Okay. Like a Eclair or something, you know, or maybe, you know, say a chocolate filled with Chyawanprash. I mean, just a wild idea. I mean, we're experimenting with a lot of such things, and we have got a huge pipeline of products available for in each and every category. Lots of innovations in hair care, hair oil especially, you know, and shampoos. So we keep experimenting it. We experimented first. We launch it in, say, e-commerce first, and then go omni-channel. That's the first route to success. We test it out and then go to the next.
Yeah, you know, when you talked about Chyawanprash, my niece, we'll have to force her every day to have her spoon of Chyawanprash. Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, if you give it in a toffee or a sweet form, I'm sure she'll have it. And there will be no struggle every morning. But yeah, I think that's your Gen Alpha for you. You know, I have this question for both of you. So a lot of marketers are looking at targeting Gen Z. As you went on to this journey, there's a lot of things that you must have learned on the way. So what is your advice for marketers who are sitting in this room as to what they should do and what are things that they should look out for while they get onto this journey?
Going first? Yeah. Okay. I think my advice will remain that line that I ended with. Don't judge, understand, and express. I think it's very important because it's a generation that is very vocal. You know, it's a generation that expresses itself, and that is what they expect from us as well. So I think what is important is understanding, and then you will craft rightly, you know, and expressing. I think so those are the key words that I would kind of want to leave everyone with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rajiv?
So, you know, what happens with this generation is that, you know, if you tell somebody that, you know, have this, you know, they'll not have it, right? They'll do their own quick research, you know, they'll quickly try to find out what's there inside it, right? I mean, what happened with us is that our parents told us something, they said, oh, that's fine with us. Well, this generation is not like that. They will first research. So you should have a backup ready for everything, you know, you should have somebody talk to them in their language. So that's where influencers come in, you know. They talk to this generation in their language, and it works very well that way, you know. So influencers becomes a very big play for us in that respect. So one is that mainline advertising which you have for top of the funnel, for bottom of the funnel, and for say using say a bit of a social commerce, bit of everything, you know, because you can't leave out any audience. You have to grow your business. You have to. How do you grow business? The only way to grow business is to get new consumers come in and increase the usage of your products. Beyond a point, you can't increase the usage of the product. You know, I mean, if you have 2 spoons of Chyawanprash, you will have 2 Chyawanprash. You can't start having 4, right? So you have to find somebody new, and because lapsing is also is happening at the same time. So you plugging in all the leaky bucket, trying to get new people to consume it, and these new people are available. There are 20% of this population which is ready to use it, and they are going to have a lot of money in future.
Yes, sure.
So just be with them, talk to them in their language.
Thank you. Any questions? I think we've run out of time, so we'll take it. They're available. You can ask them questions at any point of time in the breaks.
Perfect. Let's give it up for Archana, Sumit, as well as Rajiv. Could I just request all of you to stay on stage, please?